Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another unboxing video and review, and it's Jethro Tull Super Deluxe Edition of Under Wraps and also Ian's first solo album. Here we go. Under Wraps and Walk Into Light, the new Super Deluxe Edition in this series from Jethro Tull. I've reviewed every single one of these in the series, so you can watch all of those in a playlist on the YouTube channel. So I'm a bit late coming to doing this review, but it's absolutely fabulous. Let's have a look inside the set. Here we go. This is Jethro Tull Under Wraps, the Unwrapped Edition and Walk Into Light, the 1984 album plus Ian Anderson's 1983 solo album with original new 2026 drums plus associated 1983 to 1984 recordings, all remixed to stereo, surround and Dolby Atmos by Bruce Soord plus BBC Live in Concert from 1984. So I'll show you the back first of all, shall I? So again, this is the perfect design for these deluxe sets. As you know, I always say this every single time, and it won't be the only time I say this in this video, that I just wish so many other legacy acts had followed this as the route to bring out deluxe editions. So we've got 5 CDs and a Blu-ray as well. So CDs 1 and 2 are on the left hand side. CD 3 is in this little wallet here, and then we have the booklet. And Ian Anderson being involved means that no stone has been left unturned. Whoever has been involved in this, what I mean is not this making this, but at the time, whoever bumped into as part of the story will have been tracked down and found and spoken to if necessary. As you know, we've had kind of box sets where if there's been a string quartet, they've interviewed the string quartet. So this is wonderful. Goes through the whole rationale behind how the album was approached, who was in it, who wasn't in it. Lots of great pictures, lots and lots and lots of detail, which is absolutely fantastic stuff, as you can see here as I flick through this. And you'd expect the memorabilia and the photographs and the tour sheets, and if anyone was in a music magazine, they've been interviewed. But the other thing about this is that Ian will let anyone, for instance, Martin Barr, who's no longer in the band. We haven't got a band where they say, well, can you imagine Deep Purple doing this? Would they approach Richie Blackmore to talk about something? They say, well, no, he's not in the band anymore. But Ian Anderson respects every musician who's ever been part of the Jethro Tull lineup and story to have their say about an album that they've been on. Dave Pegg is also involved as well. Here he is. And all the merch is there, the typical adverts from that. And then, of course, we have a track-by-track analysis by Ian Anderson, which is brilliant that the artists are involved in these. And then Walk Into Light. Absolutely, it's as good as any of the sets in this series, as far as I'm concerned. Of course, now we're moving into Dolby Atmos land, aren't we? So everything is going up a notch. You've got all the lyrics from this period as well. Again, as you'd expect. And as we come to the end, we've got Walk to the Light, all of the lyrics for that album, the solo album. And then the engineer's notes. This is always important to me. This is Bruce Soord talking about how this was approached. Because as you know, there were kind of like very early drum machine used in these albums. And so this talks about what they did in actually using the modern sounding drums. So did they put in a new drummer, or did they use something else? Well, I'll tell you that when I do my main review. And then obviously we've got as we always do, the rundown of all of the timeline to the albums, gigs and release dates, etc. The Blu-ray is situated here, and then the last 2 CDs are on the back cover. So that's a quick look at Jethro Tull Under Wraps, the Super Deluxe Edition. So that's a look inside this latest edition, the Jethro Tull Super Deluxe sets. And I think I've said in every single one of these that I've done that this is the ultimate way of presenting a Super Deluxe edition for a single album. This hardback book approach is just perfect. And I've said it in every single one of these reviews that why haven't other bands followed this approach? Because the books, everything about these sets is just perfect. And I know many of us, and I was one of them, thought that we're not going to get this far. You know, Stephen Wilson was doing all the super remixes, 5.1 mixes, etc. And I thought they're just going to stop. And they haven't. And some of you will be thinking, well, maybe they're going to stop after this. I know that they're not going to do that. There's going to be more. Under Wraps was an interesting period. This is my CD. I didn't buy it on vinyl first time round at all. This was when Jethro Tull and Anderson was really into experimentation. He was using drum machines and more kind of electronics, and the mix was very of its time. And Walk Into Light was similar in that respect. So the fact that they've pulled these together into this set is fantastic. Now, the other thing that became apparent before I got my copy, because it took a while for me to order this and for it to arrive where I am, is that there was some kind of talk online about discs 3 and 4 being the same, and there was some kind of issue with them. Whether that's the case or not, all I can say is that as far as I'm concerned, mine are fine. There's a definite difference between CD3 and CD4 on my set. It's obvious there's a difference. One of the interesting things was before this, when this was announced it was going to come out, was everyone saying, well, are they going to do the drums again? And in fact, when I interviewed Ian Anderson, he talked about the fact that we mentioned this. He's saying, I'm hoping we're going to redo the drums. And what's interesting, reading the part where Bruce Soord was approached this to do the remix. And of course, Bruce has worked with Ian on the more recent Jethro Tull releases, so he's really close to Ian Anderson. Ian Anderson's been round to his studio and they're working together, which is why I know there's going to be more in this series, is that they did try and get a drummer in to redo it. But of course, they couldn't just get the drummer in to just play drums over it, because the songs wouldn't be the same, would they? It would completely change the whole approach to this album. And the fact is, the way it was programmed is that no drummer could actually play that. So it just wasn't going to work. So in the end, Bruce actually used more modern sounding samples to create the drum kit. It's still digital, but it sounds like an acoustic set, but that's how it's been done. And it's completely changed the feel and the mix of the album. Because the other thing, we go back to the mid-80s, is bass. I mean, Dave Pegg's bass was really rolled back into the distance, but now it's been pushed forwards. And so the album itself, both albums, have got a much warmer and authentic and real organic instrument, musicians around you type feel to it. And it's interesting, because I can wax lyrical about what I see as the classic Jethro Tull albums, but I have to say I probably enjoyed this deluxe set more than some of the others, and I think it's because the music isn't as familiar to me. It's not so overplayed, even though the other sets in this series have got remixes, etc. There's something about this set and the way this now sounds that has really brought out just what a fantastic songwriter Ian Anderson is. And how many, I'm looking at the associated recordings are really good, etc. But Under Wraps itself, like the Luxury, the track Under Wraps, it's fantastic songs. And I think now you can really hear them more clearly. They sound closer to the canon that has produced Ian Anderson and the Jethro Tull story. And Walking to Light also sounds fantastic with the drums remixed by Bruce. The Blu-ray is brilliant because everything is on there, obviously. And plus you've got the flat transfers, master mixes, etc. There's only a couple of videos on it, which is a promo video and a tour rehearsal video as well. The live stuff from Hammersmith Odeon, which is BBC from 1984, is superb. Absolutely great recording, really exciting to listen to. And obviously you've got some of the songs from this album, but also Pussy Willow's on there, Hunting Girl, Thick as a Brick, Living in the Past. It's really, really good. So this to me has been a revelation to hearing, and Bruce Soord's remix is fantastic. Don't miss the interview I've done with Bruce Soord talking about Ghosts in the Park, which is his latest solo album, and we also talk about this at length. We also talk about a bit of Opeth, and we talk about the Pineapple Thief tour coming up as well. But that is Jethro Tull Under Wraps edition with also Walking to Light. Highly recommended. And remember, these things don't hang around for very long, and I think this is well priced as well. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Please subscribe. Think about becoming a patron, because you get access to our private music communities where you can talk to people from around the world about music. It doesn't matter what genre it is, what kind of music. It's a really fun and safe place to hang out. And that's on WhatsApp and also a private Facebook group. And we meet up by our own private pub called the Now Spinning Arms twice a month as well. We've got a music store on the website, nowspinning.co.uk. We sell box sets, vinyls, CDs. We've got a merch store, tons of stuff. Remember, music is a healer and the doctor. Take care, keep spinning those discs, and I'll talk to you all very, very soon.